is Jorge Machado. I'm Portuguese and I'm living here in Saudi for the last 4 years. Well, I came 4 years ago to work in the public transports. I'm the head of Health and Safety, Quality and Environment of the PTC companies, the public transportation company here in Riyadh. So I came here with the expectation of going to work, coming to house, and mostly one in another. And suddenly I start meeting different people connected to music and connected to different arts activities. But mostly music, of course, that's one of my passions. And suddenly I was connected to this new world that I was not expecting to find so quickly here in Saudi Arabia. For instance, among other differences, but that was the main difference that I'm been experiencing during the last years. And since then, we have a huge big festival like Middle East and several parties and concerts that I've been feeling like amazed when I see them, and some of them are performed on it. So it's been quite a surprise, and quite seeing this with quite enthusiasm. It's been super interesting. Well, Noura bin Sadan, I've seen her work in the Middle East, and before that I heard about her, of course. And when I've seen the Middle East, the combination of also the 3D lighting with her work was something very interesting. So it was really an honor today. I had the privilege of meeting her, and we started immediately talking about potential partnerships, and we challenged each other for doing some artwork of performing music while she paints and draws, and what she paints and draws will also inspire me. So I'm really curious and looking forward to see what can we bring from this potential partnership and challenging each other. Painting, drawing, graffiti, and music performance, playing keyboards, guitar, DJing. So let's see what it will bring from this. Well, I'm lucky enough to have performed on the Middle East, the first one, and now the last one, a few months ago. This last one was on a bigger stage, and it was really an honor being part of this cultural revolution. And I can feel that through music, because it's one of my main hobbies, and I can feel really a part of it. So what I've seen in terms of the differences since a few years to now, it's growing a lot in terms of behavior, in terms of approach, in terms of openness also. And the concerts you have outside Middle East also during the Riyadh season. Classical concerts, not only rock bands, so all types of music are integrated. Really classical oud players. This is a thing that I have in my new album, a person singing and also performing oud. So I'm also in love with that instrument because I play guitar, and all the guitars came from the wood. So I have one right here that was given by a really good Saudi friend of mine and a really awesome family that I'm now getting into that also. So. I'm not quite sure about the key of adapting. I know how I adapt here in the country, and it was basically, I think, with open arms and not many expectations, and suddenly people I've been meeting. There are lots of connections between the Saudi people and the Portuguese, I think, but I find it quite similar in the approach to family. And several times I walk in the streets and people say, "Welcome to my country," for instance, and I feel like quite honored to be here and being part of this beginning of the openness. Okay, I think I can say it like this. For me, I think the point was really being open to meeting different people, and I felt like people also were open to meeting me. I already camped in Saudi Arabia in the middle of nowhere in the desert. It was quite interesting. I had some events also in the desert. I've been in Kobar, I've been in Alula. I traveled with the car 3,000-4,000 kilometers in a few days, just seeing the nature and the different landscapes. It's very, never saw nothing like when you get to all these mountains and the open sky you get in the desert, like you have this near in Riyadh or across Saudi Arabia, the feeling is immense. The edge of the world. So I've seen several things, but I still feel I have a lot to see in the future. So the Riyadh was one of the first places I've seen almost 4 years ago, and I've been again there maybe 2 years, but I need to go again because every time I visit these places I find different things to see and to different details, and I always meet new people. And like I said before, most of the people say hello to me and ask what country am I, and I start communicating. I'm starting to learn Arabic, so inshallah I will speak a bit more during the next months or years to come. Not everyone speaks English, but most of the people speak English. But it will be easier to communicate with these people I've been meeting in the middle of these historic places and the cities, villages I'm seeing. And I'm in love with the history you can find on these places. With, like I said before, the connection with the Portuguese and Spanish, and you find such different, even in words, you have so many words that are similar, that some way or another, that the Arabic or Muslims influence the words, or the opposite also. And I'm figuring out, so discovering all of this step by step. It's basically almost Portugal in one big city, with huge roads, like kilometers of those. With the nightlife, very interesting. It's full of colors, most of the places I'm going, especially in the center, and have really nice restaurants and boulevards, like now the boulevard is, and nice spaces when you have so many different kinds of people, have so many expats here living together with the Saudi people, and that makes a very rich place to learn new things and to live. Every time I go out, I meet new people, and this is quite amazing. And I've did, on the past years, I've been meeting some of my best friends that will be friends for the rest of my life, regardless of the country. And some of them Saudis, one of them is right there also. I don't know if I can say that, but Jimmy is there. And it's basically connected to music, playing instruments, but also having dinner and simply sharing histories and stories and things that happen to me, things that happen to people. So connecting, talking, eating, enjoying, playing music, DJing, and seeing other people doing the same and trying to connect with them on the different levels. One of the things that I really connect with Portugal a few decades ago, years ago, maybe 2 years ago, we went to the edge of the world and we stopped near a last village. And in fact, we were coming back from the edge of the world and we were several cars. It was in the beginning that the women shouldn't, it was supposed not to wear a abaya, so it was in the middle of the country opening for tourism. And we were next to a mosque and we were talking a bit loud. We were coming from the desert. And some people dressed in Saudi costumes came to us and I was like, hey guys, we are doing too much noise. Maybe you are disturbing. And they just came to us and said, hey, welcome to our country. Our father wants you to come to our house. And we were like 10, 15 people, women, men. And we said, oh, okay, but we have some, we are like normally dressed. They said, no, it's okay, just come to our house. So we got into a house that nobody uses, and I didn't know them. And they start like giving us dates and coffees and lots of kids around us, asking where were we from. And I was really surprised with this type of hospitality. Nobody knew us from the middle of nowhere, inviting them to their house. This is a thing that most of the cities, the old cities, lost on the last decades. And you can still find it here so such a genuine way that is interesting to see. And these small things like this happen a lot during the last years. This one was the first one. It was more, it had more impact in all of us. We were lots of Portuguese and some Spanish, I think. And it was really, wow, this has happened the time of our grandfathers. So, and like I said also, lots of people in the streets and on the Middle East say, welcome to our country. So this is quite interesting and amazing and honored to be in this country on that. So. When we talk about culture, different things come into my mind because music and art is also culture, and this hospitality is also culture. The gastronomy, I learned to do mandi the other day with a friend of mine, for instance. So talking about culture is very, very generic, but also another thing I've been doing here a lot, and also my son loves when I send some videos of that, is connecting music, cultural music, with art. I'll say painting and drawing, and I have some drawings already from a Portuguese friend of mine that paints while I'm performing music. I've been lucky to know some other artists like Big Mo and like Nura. Okay, they are really amazing in terms of the cultural part of the image and drawing and painting. And so this is the part that I highlight more: the music, the welcoming, the food, the cultural on the food, and the lamb, the mandi, and all of those stuff. So this is most of the things that come into my mind when we talk about Saudi culture. Well, a regular morning, taking coffee is the first thing normally you do after waking up. Then checking some emails, some communications, pending communications, things to do. Every morning I have some to-do lists and some alarms every day for thinking of tasks that I choose, and I choose to do them, okay, on that day or in some days ahead. So this is the first step. And then the normal situations, taking shower, dressing up, going to work. And today we've been in some parts of my work also. Well, we are very, very safety first is really our first model in the company. And safety on site and when the buses go to the streets. And safety starts whenever you wake up. So we have lots of information, awareness, and most of the training is to do so, to keep people reminding of the safety. And the humans are the first priority, even our workers or the people around the streets. And one of the interesting things in my company, the other day, I get into a room and I said, Sabah al-Khair. It was a Saudi person next to me, and I said, bonjour to a French. It's all in the same meeting room. And hola to a Spanish guy, and bon dia to a Portuguese, and suddenly 5 different people that spoke 5 different languages. It's really interesting, especially if you have different nationalities, because everyone knows what safety is. But to implement it on a daily basis, it's really important to make people think of it without being conscious. So it's like subconscious thinking on safety. And at the end of the day, normally a bit of music, like we were today with Jimmy. I have several other DJs and friends and composers that I work with. And well, this is basically most of my days. Also taking care of the cat, have some dinners with my friends, meeting new people also on the weekends, basically. Well, I had already today a schedule with Jimmy, and I have some, depending on the days, some collaborations, and Jimmy was one of the first persons I had the pleasure of meeting, and he's one of the biggest connectors I had also that opened the music scene, especially the electronic, and I've seen a whole new world here in Saudi Arabia with him, and we have a really good friendship. He's like one of my brothers from a different mother, like we used to say. I call him Irmão, and it's really easy to produce music with him. So we started doing some new collaborations, and we have lots of things, lots of ideas to merge. So there will be lots of tracks or different projects with Jimmy definitely on the next years to come. So but it was an interesting jam session that we had today, and aligning some ideas. I performed on the first day as LJ. It's one of my alias in music for the DJing. And when I reached Middle East, it was already lots of people getting in. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. And it was very interesting. I played in a big stage this year. And not many people were when I started playing, and suddenly I've seen people vibing in a way, like jumping, screaming, like really lots of people together, and that's what's quite interesting here in Saudi Arabia. And it was very emotive for me. And then when I stopped DJing and other DJs came afterwards, Of course, during the next 3 days afterwards, I travel around to all the stages and everyone. I heard a lot what I mentioned before, welcome to our country. Some of them recognized me as a DJ, but most of them, I believe, they didn't. So it was interesting just to see a foreigner, that was the impression, and welcoming us. So that was quite interesting part. The Lounge project is another side project. It's called LJ Lounge, and I'm recording and building an album entitled Riyadh Urban Chill. And I'm searching and I'm getting different collaborations in Riyadh, mostly Saudis, but not only. I have a really good oud player called Suleiman. I'm working also with Noura, that's an awesome singer. That was surprised when I met her. And I have other performance in the percussions, handpan. So the idea is to inspire on people, parts of the city, and to create a whole record, complete album called Riyadh Urban Chill, that with each song I will inspire in something or some person. And inshallah, during this year I'll have something more ready to show to the people, and this will be my view of the city of the Riyadh as an urban chill location. Well, one thing I was really impressed is the huge quality and precision of these artists. And the thing that really comes into my mind is the calligraphy on the Arabic, and how most of these artists draw all of this really difficult handwriting and merge that with images and with landscapes. And it's quite impressive. When you see it far, it looks like something, and you go near and you see lots of information inside it to build this big landscape, but it has lots of images and texts inside, and the Arabic handwriting is very difficult. So combining this art, like drawing, and above this drawing of the lyrics, you can get some more information above it, and it has like seeing two or different images and different inspirations in only one. And you look far, it's one thing, you start getting really close to it is another, and then suddenly you have much more whole world of information on the Arabic calligraphy above the painting. So this is a type of art that I was not really used to see, and it's quite impressive. Music and art are my main interests and hobbies, but still I'm in love with the desert. So, and seeing the rest of the country on a, not quite as a tourist perspective, but as someone that's already living here and feel like really a part of the country progressively. So everything I need to see in the desert and the cities and the small villages especially. So this is the part that I want more to use as a hobby also, like seeing all the country around. Monday is the first one, definitely. I love lamb, and in Portugal we also eat a lot. But doing that with friends in the desert, or something really cooked by them, has a different feeling. I'm guessing it's not just eating it, but it's all the process of combining all the ingredients that you need and all the friendship that you gather around preparing it until eating it. Definitely my favorite food. One of the things that the approach to family values and this openness to everyone that you can meet, and I think I talked a little bit of this on the beginning of the interview, things that I lost a bit on the last 20 years maybe, that my grandfathers was doing. It's like opening the doors to some stranger that you don't know from nowhere, and you just come to my house, eat something with us. I find this really interesting as a human being. So. And this reminds me who my family was, who my ancestors was, and I kind of want to be again a bit like that, opening the doors for the humans that are outside, for everyone, with no regrets or not being afraid, and just we're all humans at the end. So also a really good thing that's happening is the cultural, the amount of different nationalities that I've been meeting, and I've met more different nationalities here in 1 year than in 20, 30 years of my previous life. And this is the 4th continent I'm working so far, but here, I find it really amazing. I've been meeting so many people with different point of views, with different nationalities, so many different ones, not only from Asia, of course, or Middle East, but all around the world, that all of us connected. What connects us is here, Riyadh in Saudi Arabia at this point, so maybe that's the one. People in Saudi, I can have 2 messages. Thank you for the lovely country that I'm seeing and the persons I've been meeting here. And also be safe on the streets, especially when you're driving, okay? For your sake and everyone else, family, friends, everything. Ok, pessoal, estou com muitas saudades vossas. Em breve estarei em Portugal. Beijinhos e abraços a todos os meus amigos. Espero que me venham visitar também um dia, muito em breve. E até breve, pessoal.